Maritime Made is sponsored by Invest Nova Scotia because great things are happening. Invest Nova Scotia connects your business with the right resources and opportunities. InvestNovaScotia.ca.
Coldstream Clear creates ready-to-drink coolers, beer, and distilled spirits, too. This family-operated beverage company based out of Truro, Nova Scotia, has grown rapidly since 2015, becoming a bestseller in the province.
Coldstream Clear is a beverage alcohol manufacturer and a brand, so all at the same time. We make vodka, rum, gin, liqueurs, so spirits. We also make beer and ready-to-drink coolers in can. The origin of Coldstream really started from a school project of my own. So while I was studying chemical engineering, learned enough to actually distill alcohol at home. Did a project on that, learned some more. We had a lot of fun with making it for our friends and family and sharing it that way. And we just asked ourselves the question, what would it take to do this as a real business? Why we do what we do really started from the original idea. We just had fun sharing it with friends and family, and we realized if it went beyond that, that is even more fun and rewarding to do as a work kind of career. So for us, it's still a liquid first approach. Whatever our consumers and our biggest fans and advocates want, that's what we want to make.
Nova Scotia Lager is one of the most recent additions to their vast product line, and making it starts with milling grains. The barley auger is turned on and begins to move barley from the silo outside into the mill. Black malt is added for color. The strip mill pulls husks off and crushes the barley. An auger moves the milled grains to the grist case. The hot liquor tank is preheated. This hot carbon-filtered water serves the entire process. The stainless steel of the mash tun is brought up to temperature with hot water and then drained. The recipe's water-to-grist ratio is set. Another auger transfers grain into the mash tun. It takes about a half hour to fill with grain and hot water. Now, minerals and enzymes are added. Every step in the process is documented for quality control. Next, the temperature is set to 62.5 degrees Celsius. A sample is taken and chilled to 20 degrees Celsius. And the pH is checked using a meter. Lactic acid is added to the mash to bring the pH down. Mash filtering happens next. The mash filter is closed and the Grant transfer pump is set. A diaphragm pump is turned on to push the mash into the filter, which pulls out the sugars. It recirculates for 10 minutes and traps spent barley grains, so clear hot wort Grant gets transferred to the boil kettle. This continues until the mash tun is empty. The kettle fills and the wort boils at 98.5 degrees Celsius to sterilize it and remove any off flavors. The sparge is added to the mash tun. The resulting sparge water is pumped through the filter to get 100% of the sugars out of the grains. More lactic acid is added. After draining the sparge into the press, it's time for the squeeze. Air-filled chambers squeeze all the sugars out of the grains. It's done in increments of increasing pressure up to 40 psi. 2 different types of hops are measured, one of which is grown in Alton, Nova Scotia. They're added to the boiling kettle, followed by multiple bags of corn sugar. Yeast nutrients, maltodextrin, calcium chloride, zinc, and a type of seaweed are added 10 minutes before the end of the 45-minute boil. A sample is taken for a gravity test using a density meter. They've decided more water is needed. The wort is transferred to the whirlpool, where it's rotated for 10 minutes before resting for 20. This removes proteins and hop particles called trub, which settle and get left behind. A few more samples and checks are done to ensure their target gravity will be met. Next, the wort is pumped through a two-stage heat exchanger to the fermenter, where it's cooled from 80 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius. This chilling stage is called the knockout. Once the knockout temperature is dialed in, they start pitching yeast from their perfect pitch Aber compact machine, which counts yeast cells precisely and adds them into the wort stream. Oxygen is added to help. Head pressure is added to the tank to keep oxygen in suspension and aerate it. When it starts fermenting, gases are released from the yeast into an airlock. A smart fermentation hub is attached, allowing them to check the gravity, pH, temperature, conductivity, and oxygen levels from anywhere. Brewing this batch of lager will take 18 to 21 days. Afterwards, something called a pigtail is used to check the bright tank beer to see if it's ready for canning.
What's going well for Coldstream these days is a variety of things at the same time. So we're fortunate to have so much support from our local area initially. But the biggest thing that has been a turning point for Coldstream is being a leader in the coolers and ready-to-drink cocktail space. So everything to do with vodka sodas, lemonades, hard iced tea, even vodka waters. We're really leaders in that space in Atlantic Canada, and we're proud of that. I think one interesting thing that not everyone knows about Coldstream is simply that we are not a big brand. We're still family-owned, independently operated. We do employ a significant amount of people. It's a total of 100, and we can still compete with the biggest brands out there.
Their cranberry vodka soda is on their packaging line today. A pallet of over 8,000 cans is cut loose and the top frame is removed. The depalletizer grabs one layer of empty cans at a time and pushes it towards the ionized air rinser, sterilizing them with electronically charged particles. The cans travel to the counter pressure filler. The cans and lids have hooks that are seamed together. It seams 200 cans per minute. They're rinsed and go through X-ray level detections, ensuring the right volume in each can. In a pasteurization tunnel, they're showered with hot and then cold water, improving their consistency and shelf life. The cans are dried, date-coated, and dried again. Then, 6 cans are grouped together by red can carriers. Once 4 of these 6-packs reach the case packer, they're boxed up together. At the end of the conveyor, the palletizing begins. From here, forklifts are used to either load them into their first-in, first-out warehouse inventory or directly onto trucks to be delivered.